Mike Flanagan, John Brocklin here with you. 2014 Fusion Realtors Open elimination matches. The 7 and the 10 seeds and the 8 and the 9 seeds here at Maple Lanes. Lanes 5 and 6 and lanes 7 and 8. Jerry Sikora, the lefty.
Strike in the first. A.J. Chapman strike in the first. Both opening their matches.
Sikora bowling against Scott Rains. And we take a look at the lefty Goldbranson up on lane number 8. Unique format here at the Fusion Realtors. 7 versus 10, 8 versus 9. The winners of each will then draw the 5th and the 6th seed bowlers, which we'll go over here in just a few minutes. And then they will move on to take on our 4 seed, Chuck Grote, our 3 seed Casey Murphy, our 2 seed Rob Gottschall, and our tournament leader Troy Fuller, who finished at plus 452 for 13 games of qualifying. This tournament coming in, John, was one that Jeff Riggles was quoted on the 11thframe.com blog looking at the 2.3 to 1 ratio 39-foot lane pattern to be one of the toughest scoring patterns on paper, but played pretty fair and easier this week than anticipated. You competed this week. What did you see from the lanes?
It certainly played easier than the numbers would tell you it was going to. The biggest challenge most of the day yesterday was evening out the lane front to back. Today they were hooking a little more in the middle than they were yesterday. So the house memory was gone. And for my own part, I just didn't jump into the middle of the lane fast enough. The last game today I jumped into 20 and shot 250. But there were multiple angles which you could use to approach the thing depending on what your ball of choice was and what your game's like. And guys had success from all parts of the lane, right and left, in and out. So all in all, played pretty fair. And I think tournament director's happy. I think he would have liked the scoring pace to be a little bit different than it was, but sometimes you can't control that. A.J.
Chapman looking for an opening turkey. A.J. Chapman's really fine-tuned his game. I was talking to his dad earlier. Goes to Wichita State University and just a great young man, and really bowled tremendous at the Hoosier Classic just a week ago. One of the best college tournaments on the college scene in Indianapolis, and here bowling, of course, today. He did have a hiccup today. He bowled a 180 game, but through thick and thin, he has...
That's not a terrible hiccup, actually.
Yeah, little hiccup, but down the stretch a little bit. 2-teen the last game, too.
A lot of guys' hiccups today were 160s.
He was in the top 4 at one point today. And in my opinion, with his rotation and the way that he throws the ball, I predict he will be the one that will actually end up being our 5 seed today.
I think that's a pretty good prediction, especially the way this game started for everybody.
So if you're just joining us, Mike Flanagan, John Brocklin here, 2014 Fusion Realtors Open. And right now you're watching Jerry Sikora, your 10 seed, against the 7 seed Scott Rains on lanes 5 and 6. The open by Sikora. Here is Rains having an opportunity here to jump on that opening. Rains has been solid all weekend. Qualified off the A squad.
Second time he's been high.
And over on 7 and 8, your 8th and 9th seeds, Eric Goldbranson and A.J. Chapman.
So just to clarify for people what's going on here, is it the high game out of these 4 moves on to be 5th place for the step ladder? Or
no, what happens is they're each bowling a match, and uncharacteristic of Rains to miss the 10 pin. Each one of the winners of this match will then switch to the other pair. So if Rains were to win on 5 and 6, he would go to 7 and 8, and then he would, the lowest seed left out of this would then take the 5th seed, would then bowl the 5th seed. And the highest ranking seed out of these 4 that are left will bowl the 6th seed.
Okay, so we're looking at 7 through 10 right now.
Yes. And so they're going to flip-flop pairs so they don't bowl in the same pair, and they will now draw the 5th and 6th seeds. And then the winner of each one of those matches will then move over to lanes 3 and 4 to bowl each other to see who is going to ultimately be the 5th seed. The winner of that match will then go down to lanes 17 and 18 and will bowl against our 4th seed, Chuck Grote, and then to lanes
Traditional step ladders after that.
11 and 12 to bowl Casey Murphy. 9, no, I messed the whole thing up. Forget about it. We'll get there when we get there.
It's confusing. Anyway, in the present tense, A.J. Chapman started with a 4-bagger up in the 5th. And he's not the only one who's clean. His opponent is clean. But the other guys are not striking. That's 5. Two lefties here against 2 righties.
Important for Sikora here to double. Put a little bit of pressure on Scott Rains. Really been impressed with Jerry Sikora's game this week. Got a chance to watch him quite a bit today. Very solid style and a big double there for Sikora.
Not a person who's been familiar to me. Is he from this area? Do we know? We don't know.
So a close match on 5 and 6. A bit of a landslide right now through 5 frames on 7 and 8.
Scott Rains high again on lane 6.
Yeah, these guys on 5 and 6 aren't having the best go of it.
Sikora was the high qualifying left-hander, I believe.
I would say that young Eric Goldbranson here is in a must-strike situation.
Yeah, with a game half over and his opponent has done nothing but strike so far, he's got to go. And there's one.
I remember Jeff Riggles in the booth yesterday talking a little bit about Sikora, and here in the chat they say he's from the Madison area, which makes a lot of sense.
I think that was a ball change for Scott Rains. Looked like he went from what appeared to be a lights out to a high road pearl.
Now here's A.J. Chapman looking for the first 6, halfway home. Can he do it?
Yeah, it's a solid game.
Really improved recently, like I said earlier. He was a little bit all over the place. Needed to mature a little bit, and his game certainly has. He's somebody that could be a contender all the way up until the final match. But I will tell you, I would not want to have to face Chuck Grote, Casey Murphy, Rob Gottschall, and Troy Fuller, because they really both good down the stretch. Now, Sikora's got it going. 3 in a row now for Sikora. Really applying the pressure to Scott Rains. Back over to lane 7 and 8. And A.J. Chapman, his dad's on hand here watching here. So proud of his son.
With good reason. Man, that's solid. You can't get better than that.
That's what we call the ham turkey dinner. 7 in a row.
We have confirmation from 8pin in the chat that Sikora is from the Madison area, or at least he thinks so. Oh. Right in front of the 7.
So possible max score here for Gulbranson, 244.
Yeah, unfortunately that ball didn't corner well enough.
Good ball reaction, just the balls will open a little too much. He's ran into a buzzsaw in A.J. Chapman.
Some good sportsmanship there, applauding for one another. Good to see the collegians doing that.
Big shot for
Young
Scott
kids.
Rains.
Big double.
If Rains can strike here, we're going to be all even in that match.
Trip 6 there. Actually, trip 6, 7, 10. And Scott Rains goes light and leaves it 2-7. He needed a hit there.
Now we'll head over to Strike-O-Matic here. Looking for the first 8 in a row. Victory Road looks like in his hand.
It does look like a Victory Road pull. Very, very nice.
Important for Rains to pick this up. He does.
Yeah. Good spare.
Rains can still shoot 213.
The left
235 for Sikora.
Left side spares are not the easiest thing in the world this weekend. First bad shot for a 6-7.
So now closer match 5 and 6, Jerry Sikora.
8-Pin says that AJ's been making this center look easy all throughout his junior career. He's from Manchester, Iowa, which is apparently nearby. My geography is terrible, so I wouldn't know.
Sikora strikes. He's going at a 2:05 pace. Rains can strike out for 213. So important foundation frame for Jerry Sikora. If he strikes here, he'll just need to be clean in the 10th frame.
8-Pin, even if Wichita State is sponsored by Brunswick, I believe when they're not bowling team, they can throw what they want, if I'm not mistaken. No.
They're all free agents at Wichita State University right now.
Oh, there you go.
And Storm sponsored a ball raffle that they just recently did for fundraising. I like Gulbranson's game. He just ran into a buzzsaw today.
Mm-hmm. He's got 2:20 left, which would have been a respectable game for anybody at this point in the day.
So Scott Rains, important for him to strike out. He can shoot 213.
His opponent's got 2:30 left.
Yeah, so basically Sikora, if he were to go 9 spare strike, he would win by 1 pin. So important for Scott Rains to strike out because Sikora could go 9 spare 9 and we would have a tie.
Good shot there to the lefty.
It's a triple for Gulbranson. Now Scott Rains up first ball in the 10th.
Solid there.
This weekend, a lot of hard work has gone into this event. A lot of great sponsors. Fusion Realtors, Zach Bajorner actually bowled this event. Really a large part of why this event is so successful. Storm, the Bowlers Company, being part of the Greater Iowa Bowling Association, the tour up here that Joe runs, Joe Engelkiss and his entire staff. 12 tournaments or so. 2 of them are majors. This is one of them. And Rydell Chevrolet, P&K Midwest at John Deere distributor also. And you see 4 in a row now for Gulbranson. Just a little bit too late. Also other sponsors, Kingpin Bar and Grill here at Maple Lanes, Budweiser, Bud Light, the Isle Casino, and Waterloo Convention and Visitors Bureau. And as you were about to say, John, 2 great strikes there by Scott Rains.
Exactly what I was going to say.
So now important to fill it all up here, though, because 8 or 9 is a big difference on a fill ball if
Absolutely.
Sikora were to go up and go 9 spare. But first we'll see Gulbranson finish out with 220.
9's not the easiest thing to get on your first ball either. Survival on the line. Lanes are not all that easy this time of the day.
224 for Gulbranson, 213 for Scott Rains. A.J. Chapman is going to continue to cruise and roll. He's got a possible 266 left. This is all just a formality.
Good pitch there.
Okay, to advance, a strike will get her done right here. Taking a little extra time on the approach. Deep breath. Jerry Sikora needs 9 spare. Strike to advance.
Oh,
there's the 9.
Got a little break there out of the 6-8.
There's the 9 count. We get ties all the time.
Solid game for AJ. Okay, so Mr. Sikora needs a strike to win.
9 is a tie. Anything less, he loses.
And in this tournament, if there is a tie, we're not sure. The tournament director will tell us, no doubt.
266 for Chapman over
AJ's got
Gulbranson's
a
224.
Rooting section of his collegian.
Yeah, he brought 10 Wichita State bowlers with him. So here we go. Needs a strike to advance.
Oh, and a blower 10-pin.
Well, there's the 9 spare 9. We have a tie. We will divert over to tournament director Joe Engelkiss, and we will get the call and find out what happens here. 213 to 213. These two guys could not get it figured out in 10 frames. They're going to need overtime, John.
They are. And we're about to hear, I presume, over the loudspeaker, what's going to happen to make overtime. Well, the tournament director is paying out checks, I believe, for those of us who did not bowl so well today.
Okay, it's a 9th and 10th frame roll-off.
9th and 10th frame roll-off.
And Sikora is going to get us started.
They're starting on the lane opposite. They're starting on the lane opposite.
Okay, so a strike for Mr. Sikora. Greek church for Mr. Rains.
Okay, important for Scott to get 3 pins here. Ooh, almost got it.
Almost got all of them.
So 5-4 for Rains, a strike for Sikora. We're in a 9th and 10th frame roll-off here. Rains was your 10 seed. Sorry, your 7th seed, and Sikora is your 10 seed. A.J. Chapman has already advanced over Eric Gulbranson.
Good pitch there.
Coming up in the next matches, Nick Pate and Chad Nelson will meet the winners of each of these matches. A.J. will go over to lanes 5 and 6. And either Scott or Jerry will move over to lanes 7 and 8 and inherit their new opponents. So Sikora just needs to be clean here, and he will advance.
Yeah, it's back-to-back opens for Scott Rains.
It'll be interesting to see how AJ bowls on 5 and 6, because Scott didn't make that pair look too easy.
This lower end of the house hooked more than the rest. So the middles on the right probably are pretty torched down here by now.
Rains finishes with 28. Sikora already with a strike up. That'll do it right there.
There's the double.
Jerry Sikora.
Here's the handshake. Jerry Sikora moves on. Nice bowling all weekend, though, to Scott Rains off of A squad. He was one of the leaders on that squad.
So we'll bring it into the booth. Mike Flanagan, John Brocklin here with you. Pretty great tournament this weekend. Sold out, as always. 3 full squads, A, B, and C. 7 games of qualifying. Great sponsors.
Joe does a great job up here with his tournaments.
Fun trip up here. It's 6 hours from St. Louis. Flew out from Utah. Happy to be part of it. Brett Cooper was here representing Storm as well. Made the trip out, the area salesman. If you're in this area here, Midwest Territory, Brett Cooper is the one you want to reach out to with Storm. If you own a pro shop, reach out to Brett. He'll take care of all your needs. Storm being the bowlers company, happy to be part of this thing. And, of course, us here at Inside Bowling, we love coming here every time. Brian here with us this week.
The folks in the bowling center here could not have been more hospitable. He had
always have my drink ready for me.
I was just going to say they had a full staff of folks, including the waitresses, up and down the concourse, helping the bowlers make sure that you had whatever you needed, ice water or otherwise.
So we're
and
just
Joe
waiting.
does a great job with sponsorship up here too, getting $5,000 from the
Convention and Visitors Bureau.
Convention and Visitors Bureau here in Waterloo is awesome.
Zach Bajorner threw a few $1,000s at it from Fusion Realtors. That's why so many people come and bowl. And it's not an advertised high top prize. It's spread out evenly throughout the distribution of the prize fund. Okay, looks like practice is complete. This is your 5 seed Nick Pate versus AJ Chapman, the 8 seed. AJ advanced here by defeating Eric Gulbranson, and also simultaneously on lanes 7 and 8. The 6 seed of Chad Nelson will take on Jerry Sikora, our 10 seed, who just defeated Scott Rains in a sudden death 9th and 10th frame roll-off. Now, we saw AJ Chapman shoot 260 on lane 7 and 8, John, and now he comes over to a tricky 5 and 6 where we saw Scott Rains struggle quite a bit. It'll be interesting to see how he and Pate attack lanes 5 and 6, and I predict low scoring. Jerry Sikora, the lone lefty here. John, you didn't hear this week that it was lefty dominant by any sense, but being a left-hander against these right-handers could be an advantage.
It could be an advantage. They're the only one on the left side of the lane. Nothing else is going on to change what you're looking at except what you're doing.
Chad Nelson creeps in just a little high, leaves the 9. Here's our first look at Nick Pate throwing the IQ Tour Fusion. Just came out earlier this month, and no relation to the tournament being the Fusion Realtors Open, but just a really cool coincidence.
They were in use by a lot of bowlers, though. Okay, spare in that match. Spare strike in the other match.
Now, Chad Nelson out of these 4 bowlers is probably the most accomplished and most seasoned bowler. And don't forget, the winners of each one of these 2 matches that we're broadcasting now, we're going to go over to lanes 3 and 4 after this, and they're going to bowl each other. The winner of that match then on 3 and 4 will then move to 17 and 18 to face Chuck Grote from Utah.
That would be the beginning of traditional step ladders. Ooh.
A blower
That's
5-7
a nasty leave.
with a modern-day bowling ball. Chad Nelson's probably going to get some grief from that, from his buddies.
And a strike for Mr. Pate.
Then once we determine who wins from the Groat and winner of this match on 17 and 18, we will move over to lanes 15 and 16. And the winner will bowl a red-hot Casey Murphy, who finished at plus 447 in this tournament. And then after that, we will move over to lanes 11 and 12, where the winner will bowl Rob Gottschall, who finished 1 pin ahead of Casey Murphy at plus 448. And then our championship pair will be lanes 9 and 10. Troy Fuller, our tournament leader, at plus 452, will bowl for the title here at the 2014 Fusion Realtors Open.
And A.J. Chapman just went Brooklyn to leave a 5-pin.
I'll tell you what, I
Good
like
shot there from
Sikora's
Mr.
look.
Sikora, yeah.
Good look over there on that pair. This is also USBC Masters Sunday, the 2014 version. About to go live in 1 minute, as a matter of fact, as it's 1:59 Central Time. Today's PBA Stepladder Finals, Jason Belmonte looking for his second Masters in a row and second major in a row. Good shot there by AJ.
Didn't quite corner as well as he had it cornering on the pair next door.
Now here's Sikora, opportunity to open up with an opening turkey.
And he does.
Steady Eddie.
Very solid. Very impressive.
Also on that USBC Masters telecast today, other finalists making it: the 4 seed Ryan Simonelli, the 3 seed Tom Smallwood, the 2 seed Michael Haugen Jr., and EJ Tackett, your tournament leader today on that broadcast, just starting up right now live on ESPN.
Way to follow up his Rookie of the Year last year. Off to a good start again. There's a better shot for Chad. Oh, and a trip 2-pin for a double.
Rolls it
from
forward.
Mr. Pate.
Chapman, after shooting 260 the first game, has yet to strike on the left pair. We thought that might be a bit of concern. Now, Chad Nelson running into a triple by the lefty. Pretty important for him to get a double here in the 4th frame.
Nice, nice, nice. 2 good shots in a row there.
Have you watched Chad bowl before, John?
I have not.
Chad's one of those guys that's been around quite a while and is well respected in the northern part of the United States.
There's a better shot.
He's bowled a lot of megabuck stuff. Kind of a living legend. And really isn't that old. He's been at it for a while. Sikora asking that ball to push a little bit. He didn't like it off his hand.
No, he knew it was going a little high. There's a better shot from AJ. So 3 spares and a strike to a spare and a triple in that match.
Score covers the spare. 279 max score. 266 max score for Nelson.
That was a very good shot.
Well, you just got to keep throwing it there and hope that Nick Pate can no longer roll 2 pins. Man, Jerry looks tough.
He does.
I don't know what they're like on the left side,
Very
pair to
solid.
pair, but if I'm one of these right-handers in the top 4, he's not somebody I want to bowl.
I agree with you wholeheartedly. Okay, A.J. Chapman on a 190 pace over there. Nick Pate has spare triple. So a nice lead in that match so far for Mr. Pate. Up in the 5th. Chad here going for a triple of his own. Crosses over 310.
The mid lane is just looking like it's on fire if you cut it short at all.
Yeah, he did cut that one a little bit short.
Now here's Nick, big shot in the match. Hit him thin, watch him spin. That's what Andy Peterson would say.
A little better than the rolled 2-pin last time, but still a little bit light. Effective though.
I'm liking that look right now, especially on a tricky pair like lanes 5 and 6. So a max score possibility of 290 for Nick Pate, trying to make a statement here against the red-hot A.J. Chapman. Just came off at 260. Probably didn't see this this opening out of Nick Pate. A.J. coming into the match, in my opinion, was a favorite.
Ooh.
Look at Nick. He's opening up this entire lane pattern. 39-foot oil pattern. 2.3 to 1 ratio on this AMF HPL lane surface.
It's a good shot from Chad.
So now AJ
Got him.
just has got to go up and throw strikes.
Hit this lane last time. Let's see if he can do it again.
Still got 248 left.
That one goes high.
He just looks confused.
Giving the lane a double take. Yeah, exactly. Struck flush on that lane last time, and that one apparently was a good shot off his hand, he thought, and checked up early. Jerry Sikora here up in the 6th. Another strike. He has got a really nice look on the left. Good spare there.
I'm trying to get a glimpse of what ball this is that Jerry's using. It looks like a high road pearl.
A high road pearl, or I was going to say maybe a crossroad. It's got that blue tone to it.
AJ up right away is going to go again.
Again high. It's their first really errant shot out of Mr. Sikora. Over there on 5 and 6 with those mid lanes, that low diff Cora and the IQ fusion seems to be the trick over there.
Yeah, and he's considerably deeper than AJ. No problem for Jerry. Tell you what, getting through these couple of matches, if you can get through these 2 matches, you got to feel confident bowling against someone who's sat for a little while. I mean, when you think about it, when Troy Fuller gets to the lanes, he will have sat for about 2 hours.
Oh, what a break there.
Crosses over. He didn't like that shot at all. Fortunate to get the strike. Hopefully he doesn't use up all his breaks in this match because it's a long road ahead.
There's several to go until we have a winner, that's for sure. And anytime you're in the step ladder, you're happy to be where you are, but waiting for your opponent to be determined and to come at you. You can stiffen up.
Well, that shot there was one that Chad Nelson definitely needed to get. That would have been a double. It would have put a little bit of pressure on Jerry Sikora. Sikora going at a 2:27 pace. If he would have struck there, Chad Nelson, he would have had a 2:44 max score. Now instead, Nelson can only shoot 2:24, and
a missed spare.
Doesn't even matter now, really. If he can strike out, he can shoot 212, and he will need Sikora to make a big mistake. Chapman, up in the 8th, is still confused. Just fired that one. And Pate, your 5 seed's going to advance in that match. So it looks like we're going to have Nick Pate and, barring any sort of total disaster, Jerry Sikora. They'll move over to lanes 3 and 4 to determine the 5 seed in the traditional stepladder. Fun weekend here, Maple Lanes. Joe Engelkiss, his entire crew. John Brocklin here with me, Mike Flanagan. Always a great event to come broadcast, be a part of. Joe thinks about everything possible when it comes to a tournament. That's why we move all these lanes. That's why he wants it to be as fair as possible. Never puts out a house shot for these events. Likes to challenge the bowlers. The youngsters are getting up in front of Jerry. Jerry Sikora is going to wait for Nick. Yielding to the youngster. He's got the ham turkey dinner, looking for 8 in a row.
Oh.
I bet he was hoping that lanes 5 and 6 was part of the entire broadcast today, because lane 6 is just, he can do no wrong on that lane.
He's got the high shot going, the weak shot going. It's what you want to have happen. There is an error for Mr. Sikora.
Yeah, well, interesting.
That's going to give him 190 something, unless he converts it. He's going to give him 190 some kind of count in the 9th.
Yeah,
which would mean
it's
this
a whole
match
new match.
is tightened up significantly. So 8 out. He's got 185, 193. Max score for his opponent is 212.
So another possibility of a tie. If Chad Nelson can go up and strike out, he'll shoot 212. And Jerry Sikora, if he were to go...
He's got to fill 20 in the 10th.
Yes. If he fills 19, we have another tie. So all eyes on Chad Nelson, and I'm sure Chad Nelson's looking back at the 7th frame where he missed that 7-pin.
Mm-hmm, that is huge at this point.
I expect Chad to make some great shots here.
Excellent shot there.
It's about as good as you can throw it. Meanwhile, cleaning up, Nick Pate finishes with 278.
And AJ's max is 210. Nonetheless, nice bowling by AJ all weekend long.
So Chad Nelson in a must-strike situation. Really needs to fill all of them here in the 10th frame. Working on a double first shot in the 10th. Possible 212. His opponent going at a 213 pace.
Good shot.
That looked a little inside a target, but it held, and you
It
could
held.
tell from his reaction that he was very pleased with what that ball did.
You always want to make your opponent work a little bit, much as you can.
Okay. More drama. Chad Nelson.
Everything that Chad does only makes Jerry Sikora work a little harder. Oh. Just a little bit firm maybe there. Yeah, you just heard him say you get away with one, you don't take advantage of it. So Chad's going to have 2-0-1, which means that Jerry just needs 9 total. And that's 189 for AJ.
Big difference from the 260 he bowled the game before on 7 and 8. That's why moving pairs.
Big difference, and 189 clean, we ought to say too.
Moving pairs is so important.
A grinding game. And there's the 9 that Jerry needed.
I've got an official payout sheet here in front of me. In 10th position, Scott Rains gets $650. Gulbranson in 9th gets $700 for his efforts. $150 entry fee, remember. And in 8th place will be A.J. Chapman receiving $800. And in 7th place, Chad Nelson, $900. Jerry Sikora is going to bowl Nick Pate. The loser of that match will finish 6th and receive $1,000. Today's champion will receive $3,000. Second will receive $2,200. Third, $1,700. Fourth, $1,400. So that's going to do it. 212 Jerry Sikora, Chad Nelson 201. It will be Sikora versus Pate coming up the next match on lanes 3 and 4. We'll be right back with you here. InsideBowling.com. Thanks for being with us. Okay, Mike Flanagan, John Brocklin here with you in the booth. Fusion Realtors Open Tournament, the 2014 version. We have seen elimination matches to this point and the 10 seed. Jerry Sikora is bowling the youngster, Nick Pate, the 5 seed.
Nick in the first frame. Going high. Crusher for a strike.
Yeah, the old Jersey squasher, and Sikora putting his hand out as a really act of good faith there as you go right through the heart with this IQ Tour Fusion and gets a strike. Nick Pate living life right. He got a lot of breaks in the last match, but threw a lot of good shots too. And A.J. Chapman came up just short, you know, bowling a 180 game clean, really grinding it out. But Sikora, the lone lefty left in this field, how far can he make it and what can he do? Also, he's the oldest bowler left in the field as Nick Pate, Chuck Grote, Casey Murphy, Rob Gottschall, Troy Fuller, all younger than Jerry Sikora. So all square through 1. This Fusion Realtors tournament this weekend brought 3 full squads, an A, B, and a C squad. Roughly 60 bowlers per squad to keep it simple. 7 games of qualifying. 3.2 to 1 oil ratio, or 2.3.
2.3 to 1.
39 feet.
Although it played a little bit easier than that.
And
that's an early double.
The way that the pattern is shaped front to back makes a lot of difference on scoring pace and this high friction HPL lane surface. Scores were higher than anticipated, but fair for both sides. We got a lefty and a righty here in this match. See if Pate can make a good shot, hit the 1-3, get comfortable out on the lanes. That was a much better shot.
That was a good shot.
That's kind of how bowling works, though, isn't it, John? You go up, you make a bad shot, you carry, then you come right back, you make a good shot, and you get 9.
5 went right behind the 7. And I think proportionately, looking up and down the field today, the 60 bowlers that made the cashers round this morning, the number of left-handers versus the number of right-handers was pretty proportionate to the total number of entries for each. So that's what you like to see out of a pattern you put down.
So Pate covers a spare. I gotta believe if Nick Pate can execute shots, he will win this match because he's so deep going left to right. Has had such a good look that he's definitely the favorite in this match. That's what I mean
Good
right
shot
there. Little inside of target, but playing the left to right. Fade back shot. And even if he gets a little right early, ball still sets up nicely. But Sikora playing this nice little 15 to 10 line with his high road pearl. I was going to say, we're just going to see about that, Mr. Pate. Third frame, Jerry Sikora looking for an opening triple.
Goes high.
What'd you see there,
4-7.
John?
Looked like it was certainly inside a target. It didn't get projected as well as the other shots. Never made it as far left down lane. Covers a spare though. Okay, up in the fourth. Taking a deep breath. That one was certainly more up and at the head pin.
Yeah, maybe looked a little slow. He's got a funny look on his face there.
He had been giving the ball away a little bit in practice and the first couple of shots this game, and that one was certainly more up and at the head pin than anything before that.
Doesn't get the count.
Might be a little bit of tension, a little bit of nerves. Arm swing's not as loose as it might have been before.
Well, now here's Nick. Nick smells the blood in the water.
It's time to pounce when that happens. That looked pretty good off his hand. Yep.
He's got just such a good look from the inside part of the lane. We were here last year, John, broadcasting this tournament, and I specifically remember the players that could get in and hook it had the best look. It was Nick Heilman who ended up winning the tournament because they got kind of fried towards the end, but left or right usually in this Fusion Realtor tournament really is the right way to attack the lanes.
Well, I tell you what, my own experience would bear that out to be true, too. My last game today, I jumped into 20 and had a much better look and finally shot 250 after treading water all day long. And Nick is throwing the new IQ Tour Fusion. It's got that low differential core in it from the rest of the IQ series. Okay, so we got Nick on a 2-0 pace, Jerry on a 190 pace. Jerry's got to get that arm swing loosened up and make a couple of good shots here. High again. And Jerry looks more frustrated with himself than anything else. And we have some open play bowlers that are meandering around here. That might have been a little bit of a distraction to him as well.
Covers a spare nonetheless.
Oh.
Ooh. So almost spoke too soon on that, John.
Almost.
Sikora can still shoot 241 if he can start making some good shots, string together some strikes. It all starts right here. Draw the line, Jerry.
Yeah. That was better off his hand. His arm swing went more direct, reached a little bit more.
So it's an 18-pin lead right now for Pate. You see the max scores on your screen, 259, 241. That looked left. But it held.
It held, though. Nick is doing what he needs to do. He's keeping the ball around the 1-3, not getting himself in any trouble. That looked a little wide.
That was way wide. Leaves a PBA washout. Definitely exactly what Jerry Sikora was looking for Nick to do. Just make a mistake, and we'll see if Sikora can pound. It's very important for Nick to give this a try to pick. Would you stand left, throw it hard and straight across the middle, John?
Yeah, I would try to go at the 1-6 like a baby split. Oh, tries to go at it like the washout and leaves the 6-pin.
So bad break there as Nick Pate gives it a hell of a run. So Pate now max score 227, Jerry Sikora 241. Now important for Jerry to go up, try to throw a double here in the 7th. Be composed. Take his time. Kind of pulling for Jerry.
I certainly am, since he's the oldest one in the field. Got to go for the old guy.
Oh,
Come
and the old
on, that's
tripstick.
the way. That's veteran carry there.
All right, so Sikora now has overcome the open play bowlers distracting him. He's bowling someone about half his age.
Show these college kids what's up.
And now Jerry, looking to apply pressure here in the 8th frame, can actually take the lead here in the 8th frame.
Barely got the 7 out on the last shot on this lane. Got to make a good one here. Get it into a good roll off his hand.
Took a lot of time on the approach. And that's way right.
Yeah, that's right of target. Never got projected. Looks a little tense. Talking to himself, shaking his head a little bit.
Still a really close match, though.
Yep, he's not out of it.
Spare this up. Don't chop it, Jerry. All right.
There we go.
So max score 219 for Sikora, 227 for Nick Pate. Nick Pate, 8th and 9th frame for this young man. Really important to go up and hit the pocket twice. Hopefully knock them all down. And then Jerry Sikora will finish the match first. Remember, his last shot over in the left lane, he threw it past the break point, missed the head pin to the right. Usually for a young person, you would see him go high on the head pin this shot. High flush.
Yeah, it was a good shot.
I'm surprised we haven't seen, this would be a good situation for a re-rack. To take a little extra time, really big shot in the match.
Well, when he was bowling AJ, their pace to that match was much quicker than the pace of the match next to them. And maybe the youngsters haven't gotten to the point of doing those little take your time tactics yet. Nonetheless, that's a good shot there.
Big double for Nick. So now Jerry Sikora needs to go up, make a good shot here in the 9th.
Got to take these one at a time.
Get all he can in the 10th.
Even if you feel like you need all of them, you can't get them all without the first one.
Looks good.
That was thrown better. There we go. That was thrown better. He reached with it.
So he's still got 219 left.
Mm-hmm. No free ride for Nick Pate just yet.
And the first strike here is big. Now, when Jerry's got into these situations, he's taken a little extra time and missed his target to the right. I'd like to see Jerry go up here, just make a nice relaxed shot, keep the arm swing free, open up his body a little bit, get the ball going right to left. Inside a target.
Yeah.
It held for a 6-pin. And Jerry knows he didn't throw that one very good.
Yeah. Every other shot's getting cut just a little bit short. He's not quite reaching down the lane. And when you're doing that on a 2.3 to 1 ratio pattern, the ball's not just going to hold up in the pocket for you. So
it's going to be important for Nick Pate to go up in the 10th frame and get a mark.
Okay, so 199.
Pate needs a mark. No PBA washouts, no Greek churches, no 4-9s. Just a good shot.
Got to have a spare, at least. High.
A 3-6-10.
Not the easiest spare in the world to pick either.
It's got to have the spare.
Everybody on my pair today that picked the 3-6-10 came back and said that was like a double.
He's actually got to have the spare and 6 to win. A spare, Greek church, or a PBA washout would be another tie.
First things first, we got to knock down this 3-6-10. And he does.
All right, big conversion there for Nick. Jerry already giving him a handshake.
Yeah, Jerry's pretty confident that Nick's the winner here. But
Nick has already got a 5 count in this match.
We have seen stranger things, right? Not wishing him any harm for sure, but you just never
now, John,
know.
if this is you competed this week, made it through 2 rounds at the Masters last year this very same weekend. Do you throw it any differently when you just need 5 pins as we see 6?
You know, some people say just, fire it hard and fast up the middle. I just think if you know what you're doing to hit the 1-3, you just got to make the best shot you can. Because if you hit the 1-3 correctly, you're going to get at least 8 or 9.
Well, he got 6, which is just enough to win.
Just enough.
Nick Pate is going to advance to bowl the 4th seed, Chuck Grote, here at the Fusion Realtors. Nick Pate, 200. Jerry Sikora, 199. Jerry's going to receive $1,000 for his efforts here this week. We'll be right back with the next match.